Hello, I'm Rachel Jones for Kalkine Media. Welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks. In this edition, I'll be shining a light on Australian buy now, pay later company called Payright. Now, Payright makes things more affordable for customers by spreading the cost of purchases over time. Today, I have with me Myles Redward. He's the co-founder and joint CEO of Payright. Thanks for joining me today, Myles.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So firstly, Myles, could you tell us a little more about Payright? How would you describe its business model and what are the key solutions Payright provides?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the description you gave is pretty close to the mark. You know, we're a point of sale consumer lender, which effectively means we give our customers the ability to walk into one of our rapidly growing merchants across both Australia and New Zealand and make a purchase today and pay for that purchase over time. So it's deferred payment options offered at the point of sale. I'm sure everyone listening in today is increasingly familiar with buy now, pay later as a category and as a concept. Obviously, we've seen an explosion really in demand for pay over time point of sale services in recent years, but we're very much the first to come to market that specialise in transactions over $1,000. So that's our key point of difference. And what that also means is we have a very distinctly different merchant mix. I think most people know and understand buy now, pay later in the concept or the context, I should say, of retail. And retail is an important and rapidly growing vertical for us, but again, being quite considerably higher price point, a very distinctly different offering. We have merchants outside of that sector in areas like home improvement, photography, education, health and beauty, and aftermarket automotive as well.
Excellent. And how do you see the buy now, pay later sector developing over the future?
I see there's still a lot of growth left in the sector. It's still, despite being a fairly progressed and developed and very much established sector now, it's still very much in its infancy, and we're seeing that with the growth that not just we're continuing to deliver as a business, but all the players, particularly, not only in the micro ticket end of the market, but in this middle ticket end of the market, which is where we specialise as well, which again is very much a lot less congested. And I think certainly from the end of that market, that middle ticket end of the market, as I've described it there, with that very distinctly different offering and that very diversified merchant mix, I think there is significant growth still to come, both here in Australia and of course in New Zealand as well.
Absolutely. And looking at your financials, during the fourth quarter of financial year 2022, you reached $100 million in gross receivables. How did you achieve this?
Yeah, we did, and look, that was obviously a pretty significant milestone for us to hit that $100 million mark. That was up 46% compared to where we were in the prior year period, and a lot of that really is off the back of the really good, strong growth and obviously demand we've seen within the loan book across those quite distinctly different, diversified merchant verticals that I described earlier. A lot of the growth throughout the financial year and the calendar year, and we're still seeing that growth into the current financial year, the current quarter, has come from areas like home improvement. Obviously, travel's been a little bit restricted, albeit starting to open up again, certainly over the past 6 months. But prior to that, a lot of the growth we saw was through that home improvement vertical, areas like solar, flooring, fencing, roofing, decking, trade services as well. So plumbing and electrical. In recent quarters, we've seen sectors and areas like health and beauty and photography really open up again. So a lot of that growth has come through those verticals, and again off to a flying start now that we're approaching midway through the first quarter of 2022, or FY22 I should say.
Absolutely. And as I know, Payright is accepted in 3,899 stores. That's a staggering 77,000 customers that you saw in the fourth quarter of 2022. So how do you plan to further expand your merchant and customer base?
Yeah, that's right. And obviously both those numbers in terms of the merchant count and also the customer count significantly further progressed now that again we're well beyond 30 June. So fast approaching the 100,000 customer mark and rapidly approaching sort of 4,000 and beyond in terms of those merchants, both here in Australia and, like I say, across in New Zealand as well. And a lot of that continued growth, the ongoing growth, we expect to continue to come through those merchant verticals that I described earlier. We're seeing a lot of inbound queries and contacts for merchants that might have a solution in place in the micro ticket end of the market. It's called that sub $1,000 end of the market. I'm sure everyone's very familiar with groups like Afterpay and others. But typically they cap out at around $1,000 So what we're finding is merchants are screaming out for a solution north of $1,000. So rather than competing with the Afterpays of this world, our product sits well alongside and indeed complements a merchant's offering that may already have one of the micro-ticket BNPL providers already embedded. So that's where we expect to see that growth well and truly continue and in fact accelerate certainly into the current financial year and beyond.
And just finally, Myles, where do you see the company in the mid to longer term?
Yeah, look, like I say, we've plenty of growth to come here. We expect to continue to penetrate further into our existing verticals, and we expect to continue to get good organic growth. There are a number of other products that we're looking to deploy into the market, which we expect to complement our existing product and our product offering. Sort of a bit of a watch this space. I won't reveal too much now, but certainly, do keep your eyes on Payright as a stock, because we're certainly very much in that growth phase, but also very much focused on that path to profitability. And that's a significant focus area for us. We do expect to get there within the next 18 months. And from there, it's just continuing to grow and scale beyond that.
Fantastic. It sounds like a real growth area. Thanks for your time today, Myles.
Terrific. Thank you.
Thank you. And that was Myles Redward, co-founder and joint CEO of Payright. Now, if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel, Kalkine Media. So make sure to subscribe. I'm Rachel Jones, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise.